everyone, welcome to your March 2024 prediction. I know some of your cards look a little bit overwhelming or maybe a little bit scary, but stay with me. We're gonna go through all of it. I will say this does feel like a heavier month for you, but again, we'll go through all of it. Stick with it. It doesn't look as bad as maybe some of these cards would appear upon first glance. Now, we will get some tea leaf cards at the end of your reading for like some wild card messages, and then we'll use the Secret Garden Oracle just for some little supportive messages from Spirit as well. But let's go ahead and get into your cards. So we have the Four of Pentacles, we have the Five of Pentacles, and the Ten of Wands. We also have that feeling when you're lying in bed awake each night is the nightmare. Okay, and then we have Show the World the Real You, Full Moon in Aquarius. We have Projections, we have Lotus Room, Take Up Space, Growth, Expansion, and Awakening. So in the month of March, I do think you're taking on more than what you can handle. And I feel like that's part of why you were drawn to this reading, why you needed to hear this reading, is that Spirit is cautioning you to be careful. I feel like you're worried about too many things. You're spreading yourself too thin. It's almost like you're going into March taking a look at your life, because this Five of Pentacles is kind of giving me the energy of like the Christmas Carol. You know how they have the ghost of like Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present, and the ghost of like Christmas future or something like that. And it's like someone leading, like a guide leading someone through their life and giving them perspective, right? So it's like you're kind of doing that to yourself. It's like I'm looking at my life, or trying to look at my life from the perspective of an outsider, and I'm trying to take stock, and I'm trying to figure out what isn't working, what is working, and trying to, again, like fix so much all at once. Because I do feel like there's this energy of dissatisfaction, and a little bit of self-criticism is wrapped up in that. I think honestly you may be taking more ownership over things that aren't really your fault, or you're blaming yourself, or you got the woulda, coulda, shouldas going on. And with the Four of Pentacles, it's like I'm trying to cling so hard to what is working, and I'm trying to keep a grip on that, right? Trying to keep up momentum with what is working, and then trying to fix everything that isn't all at once, and it just feels a bit overwhelming. You know, I think this is a lot of anxiety, and with this projections here, I think that part of this issue may be that other people are projecting their unhappiness onto you. Maybe you're around people who criticize you a lot, or who make you feel insecure, or maybe this is the influence of like social media and like what you see on the internet and comparing yourself. It just feels like you know something's gotta give. You know there are changes that need to be made, but it's again biting off more than what you can chew. And so I feel like your reading is coming through more of like a gentle, like, we want to validate how you feel, but also we want to try to help you have a better month than what is currently being predicted. Remember, energy is always in flux. This doesn't have to be the way that it goes. If you can change your mindset, if you can change your perspective on this, you don't have to have a month where you feel burnt out, where you feel anxious, where you feel like no matter how hard you try, you can't get ahead, or you feel bad about yourself, or that you're a failure in some capacity. It doesn't have to be like that. You can have a month of fantastic self-development and growth without it feeling overwhelming. And so, practically speaking, on a day-to-day basis, wake up, prioritize what absolutely needs to get done that day, or what you feel like, if this doesn't get done, I'm going to feel like I didn't have a productive day, or I'm going to feel like today was a waste. Whatever's most important to you, prioritize that first. Then whatever you don't get done that day, it will be there the next day. I remember I used to say something similar to my mom, because she would get so worked up if she didn't have, let's say, like the laundry done. And I was like, Mom, like, you're always constantly doing laundry. It'll be there tomorrow. Or alternatively, I did my own laundry as a kid. I think I started in like middle school. I just preferred to do my own. But I remember saying to her, like, you can ask for help. You can ask other people in this household to pitch in if it gets to that point where you feel like you can't keep up. And so there's like two parts to that, right? Like, either it can wait until tomorrow, or I need help. And that's just what it is. And it's funny because I used to say that to her, and now I struggle with that myself. I just think it's an adult thing, I think that life is demanding. Life is demanding, and there's a lot going on. And, I think we don't get enough rest, and then even self-care can feel like a chore. It can feel like something you're failing at because you're not making enough time for it, or so on and so forth. And so I just feel like this is a month that there's a lot happening. There's a lot coming at you. There's a lot you want to change. There's a lot of deep self-reflection going on. That is heavy. So don't add being unkind to yourself to the list. Don't add self-criticism to the list. Just do the best that you can. At the end of the day, that's all you're capable of anyway. And so it is what it is. And so I feel like this is a month where Spirit is saying, lean on us. If you feel like you don't have anyone around you to actually help you, or you don't feel comfortable asking for help, at the very least, pray to us, speak to us, talk to us, ask us for strength, ask us for help. And don't be afraid if you have to have an emotional breakdown, or you have to cry, or you are not happy, smiling, happy-go-lucky every day, And so I feel like what is going on in March, a lot of it is pressure you're placing upon yourself. This is what we're seeing right now. It's not like fully possible, right? Or maybe not realistic for you to accomplish everything you want to get done in March. So I think reframe your priorities. Things aren't as bleak as maybe they seem in the moment. And I think give yourself love. And don't be afraid if you don't have it all together in March. If other people are judging you or criticizing you, it's probably a time for them to take a look at their own life and ask themselves why they have so much time and space to be criticizing you. Really, take a look at your own life. Why do you have so much free time to gossip and judge me? Because I do feel like there's a little bit of an energy of that. Not for all of you, but for some of you. It's funny, even in the Lotus room, like we see the woman and her dog here looking at the guy outside who's just falling through the cosmos. It's just like, I almost feel like there is, for some of you, a separate voice in your head that just is so critical and that always kind of fixates on what you're doing wrong or what you could be doing better. And it's great to have these goals for like self-development, but at what point are you just criticizing yourself? And at what point are you not acknowledging what you are succeeding in? Or, just give yourself a little bit of credit, a little bit of grace. It's okay. It's okay if some days you wake up and you just get through it. That's okay. That's life. And I think you have more going on for you. You have good things happening for you more than you realize. And you have more strength than you realize. You have more positive qualities than you realize. And I know some of you don't want a reading like this. I know some of you are like, Bethany, like, why can't you give me any good news? But I feel like that's the point of this, is that this energy doesn't have to be the energy for March. You can change how this goes. If you just change your perspective, you can have a lighter month. You don't have to have this anxiety-induced month. If you just change your perspective, if you're just a bit kinder to yourself, it doesn't have to feel like this 10 of Wands. Look how distressed that cat looks. Like, it doesn't have to be like that. So we have listen, be alert, the soft chiming bells call to nearby fairies. I feel like that card alone is just telling you that Spirit is going to be sending you so many signs in the month of March. You're going to feel their presence more in the month of March than I think you have, in the year thus far. They're going to be sending you angel numbers. You're going to be seeing signs and synchronicities. Use your intuition with that. Don't doubt it. If it feels like a sign upon your first initial reaction, it probably is. I think a lot of times we talk ourselves out of the guidance that we get because we second guess ourselves. Are we reading too much into it? Are we just seeing a sign because we want it to be a sign? If intuitively it feels like a sign on your initial reaction, then it is, okay? It's when our minds go into overdrive that we like second guess it, and then we lose our way. And so they're going to be sending you a lot of support, a lot of encouragement. And I just feel like any way they can kind of send you the energy of like a warm hug, they're going to take that opportunity. They want you to feel their presence in the month of March. And then we have be present, use the hours, don't count them. And that's the thing, right? So be present. Don't rush through each task, worried about what you have to do next. Because I think that creates even more stress throughout the day. It's like, okay, I'm already, let's just say you're washing dishes. And the whole time you're washing dishes, which isn't like a pleasant chore. I hate washing dishes. I will use the dishwasher and I can't stand it. I will load and unload the dishwasher 1,000,000 times before I wash a dish, unless it can't go in the dishwasher. I grew up having to do a lot of chores, but dishes was the one that I hated the most. And I had so many like knockout, drag out fights with my stepsister about washing dishes. I hated it. She hated it. It was miserable. And so I just have this thing about dishes. And so I won't get into a whole thing about the dishes, but let's say you're washing dishes and then the whole time you're washing dishes, you're like, okay, I've got to take the dogs out for a walk. And then I got to send an email back to my boss. I forgot to do that before I left work. if I don't send it, by tomorrow, it's going to be a whole thing at tomorrow's meeting. And oh my God, like then I gotta prep for lunch tomorrow, because if I don't, then I'm going to order out food for lunch, and then I'm going to feel bad about the money that I spent. And I promised myself I was going to meal prep. And why can't I just meal prep? Everyone on Instagram meal preps, and just like everything just goes, way to a point to where it doesn't need to be. Just wash the dishes. Just focus on that, or at least have something else going on that is pleasant, like music that is soothing that you can listen to, or that, like a podcast or an audiobook or a YouTube video, a tarot reading, whatever the case may be, but just have something to distract yourself from that anxiety of like, what I have to do next, what I have to do next, what I have to do next. Because it's just going to take you out of the present moment, and you're going to miss, any signs or synchronicities. If you're not present, you're going to miss it. And I just think for your own mental and emotional well-being, it's hard to stay present. Don't beat yourself up about it. If you do get on like an anxious, negative thought spiral, just catch it when it happens and sort of redirect yourself without judgment. Just redirect yourself. Because sometimes when we catch ourselves, then the guilt that we feel about it is even worse. So just without judgment, redirect yourself. Okay. And then courage. When picking roses, don't fear the thorns. That's life. That's life. Anytime anything happens to us, any change, and I do feel like you're wanting change, you're craving change, but change requires an adjustment. And even positive changes ask something of us, right? Because we have to adjust, we have to acclimate. And there's good and bad in everything. So just remember that as well. That's life. Life is always going to have contrast. What we do want versus what we don't want. There's always going to be an element of that. And I'll give an example. Let's say you move in with a romantic partner. You're super excited about it, right? And it's a positive change. You're really happy about it. It's a higher level of commitment. The relationship is moving forward. Yay, yay, yay. But in reality, when you move in together, it's an adjustment period. You're navigating, how do we combine like our households, their pet versus my pet, my stuff versus their stuff, their preferences for like the room temperature. I mean, there's a lot going on. And so it just requires an adjustment. Okay, then we have forgiveness. A crushed flower still gives off a sweet scent. I think this is honestly a lot to do with yourself. Now, for some of you, if you've had really critical people in your life, like we were picking up on, this could be forgiving that, or making peace with it, or, saying, good luck. I'm gonna have to distance myself from you, separate myself from you. It's not healthy for me, kind of thing. But I think also with forgiveness here, this is a lot to do with yourself. Forgiving yourself for that negative inner self-talk, forgiving your past self. Forgiving, I think, just this sort of mindset of like, I'm not good enough, and what that lack of confidence has done to different maybe aspects of your life, how it's held you back in some ways, that feeling that you're not good enough, or that you're somehow always falling short. And by the way, like a lot of these messages are close to my own heart. I always feel a particular affinity with group 1, because I feel like you start to see certain themes with certain groups the more that you do readings. And I feel like with group 1, and maybe it's also the energy of the number 1, but there's always a certain pressure to group 1. I think group 1 tends to attract people who are more type A, people who are more ambitious, or people who are harder on themselves. And, I always just feel a particular compassion, I think especially for group 1, because it's difficult when you start to sort of realize, yeah, things are tough, but I'm making them tougher on myself because I lack this compassion or empathy or kindness to myself. And it's a delicate balance. Like, how do you give yourself grace? How do you give yourself compassion while still pushing yourself and while still trying to be better and grow? Like, how do you find that balance? And it's not easy. And so I just wanted to take a moment to validate that it's not easy, okay? Now with flowers, we have happiness here. We have camel, persevere and you will overcome problems. And we have tortoise, slowly but surely getting ahead. I love these tea leaf cards for you because I feel like they're summarizing everything that we have talked about. It doesn't feel like you're moving forward, but you are. Just because you're not seeing dramatic or as fast of progress or change as you want to see doesn't mean that growth isn't happening. And if you keep moving forward, you will get where you want to go. Even if it doesn't feel like it, you are going to reach that level of happiness, that level of contentment that you are wanting in certain areas of your life. You will get to a happier place. Will that place be perfect? No, because that's not life. But you will get to a happier point. You will get to a happier headspace. It's coming together. Even if it feels like things are falling apart, it is coming together. So I think have trust, have faith in this process, have faith in yourself, and know you are moving forward, even if it feels like you're stuck. Progress is being made. And sometimes we have to have change within ourselves before we can see that change reflected in our outer environment. And that may be the case as well for a few of you, okay? All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Hi Group 2, welcome to your March 2024 prediction. So we have the Ace of Sky or the Ace of Swords. We have Fire Tom here. We have the 8 of Fire or the 8 of Wands. We have that feeling when you know the dark hallway is empty and everything is fine, but everything is fine. We'll get into that card, don't worry about it. We have Haunted Staircase, don't let the what ifs haunt you, regrets, unsaid words, and missed opportunities. We have Go Your Own Way, and we have Your Hard Work is Paying Off, New Moon in Capricorn. Now, at the end of your reading, we will also get some tea leaf cards that are kind of like wild card messages for your month of March. And then we will also use the Secret Garden Oracle to go ahead and get some supportive messages from Spirit as well. But let's go ahead and get into these cards here. So in the month of March, you do have this sort of epiphany moment about something. And it may be multiple things in your life, but it may just be one major thing. It's going to vary for all of you, but there's something that clicks with you in the month of March that causes you to initiate some sort of big change in your life with this Go Your Own Way. You are deciding for yourself because this fire sign energy, this Wands energy is very action oriented. It's very much going with your gut, very like free will, making your own decisions energy. And so you're doing something as a result of this Ace of Swords. You're following some sort of divine guidance here and saying for yourself, oh, I've had this aha moment. I'm going to take action now. And so you're choosing to do something major in your life. And it's a bit of a tricky situation to navigate. You see how this Fire Tom is sort of having to like weave through all of these candles. But cats are very skilled, like if there was any animal that could walk through a maze of candles like this, it would be a cat. And so you have enough like skill and grace and tact or whatever it's going to take to get out of this tricky situation. But you're handling it really, really well. Now, once you make this decision based upon this epiphany moment, then you see a lot of change happening really fast in your life. And the 8 of Wands is very much like a lot of fast moving energy, a lot of positive changes coming in at once, but it requires you to adjust really quickly. That's what change does. There's a lot of adjustments that have to be made. And so I feel like that's why we have this card next to it that talks about walking down a dark hallway. And that's what it is. You have this big change that you've made. You made this big decision and you did it based upon this epiphany moment without really knowing a guaranteed outcome, right? When we make decisions, we can assume certain things or hope for certain things, but ultimately, we don't know until we've done it, right? And so there is a fear because it's the future, it's the unknown. It's like, okay, I made this really big decision and I feel good about it, but at the same time, I don't know for sure how it's all gonna work out. And so it's becoming comfortable with the unknowable and not letting that hold you back. So I think you're being super brave with this Fire Tom energy, and you're trusting yourself and you're saying, you know what, I'm gonna go for it and whatever happens, but I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for taking this leap, and I know that whatever happens, I can handle it. And so I think as it progresses, you become more confident. Are you scared initially? You know how you make a big decision and you feel really happy about it, but then as it kind of settles in, you start to panic? It's kind of like that. But I think the more you sit with it, then you are like, okay, I got to hype myself back up again. I got to be confident because I already made the decision. So either I take ownership of it or I don't. But either way, I already made the choice. So why not be brave? Why not be confident? Like I've what's done is done. So I may as well sort of lean into it, right? So I think that it's one of those situations where you are giving yourself a lot of positive affirmations. You're telling yourself it's all going to work out for the best, even if you still have a nugget of anxiety or you still feel a little bit of fear about it. I think you're just kind of faking it till you make it and, hoping for the best and telling yourself, whatever happens, I can handle it. And not letting that fear hold you back. With this haunted staircase, like, I've made the decision, so it's not going to benefit me to look back and say, well, what if I didn't do this? Or what if I had done something differently? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Once I've made the decision, it is what it is. So why be haunted by that what if? Why not just let it go? And so I think you're coming, to terms with that in the month of March. Like, yeah, if I had chosen something else, things would have been different, but who knows if they would have been better or worse? I'll never know. So why even sit here and contemplate it? Anytime we make any major life decision, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Like, we never know for sure how things would have turned out if we had chosen differently. So I think it's a month of learning how to trust your gut, learning how to trust your intuition, and learning how to be more brave and to take risks and to know that regardless of whatever happens, your future self can handle whatever outcome happens as a result of this decision. So I think you're becoming more comfortable with the unknown. You're becoming more comfortable with trusting divine guidance too, because the divine sent you that epiphany moment. And they wouldn't have given you that epiphany. They wouldn't have given you that aha moment if they didn't trust that you would make the right decision based upon that knowledge, based upon that guidance. So I think ultimately here, trust yourself and just lean into it and go with it. And if you're scared, that's okay, but just keep moving forward because what's done is done. And I will say too, with this 8 of Wands here, you see how those 2 cats are kind of just looking down at that cat that's running away. There may be people that have opinions about this that are kind of judging you or saying what they would have done in this situation. Don't listen to that chatter. Don't let it get to you. Don't be bothered by the Greek chorus. They're not in it. And it's not their life. And no one is in a position to really judge anybody, to be honest. Like, until you're in it, you don't really know how you would react or what you would do. Or, people love to pass judgment. And it just, you don't know. Like, you don't know what you would do until you're in a situation. And you have to deal with it yourself. They don't know everything that you've gone through up until this point. They don't know the kind of future that you want like you do. No one knows your truth like you do. And no one knows what's best for you like you do. They used to preach that all the time when I was in grad school. Like, the client is the expert of their own life. No one knows their own life like the client. And we should always remember that. Doesn't matter how much education you have in mental health or whatever, or about certain psychological interventions, the client is ultimately the expert of their own life, period. That's it. That's why, like, self-determination is like one of the core values on the social work, like, board of ethics. Like, that's it. And I think I was being reminded of that because this is a month for self-determination. This is a month like Spirit has given you that epiphany, has given you the knowledge, and you were brave enough to do something with that advice and to make a change in your life. And with the 8 of Wands, we see you bringing about a lot of positive changes in your life as a result of one decision. Was it a tricky situation, a difficult situation with the fire, Tom? Yeah, it was. But I think Spirit is saying, hey, heads up, you're going to handle this really, really well, even if it feels like you're not in the moment. So I think just as best as you can, I know it's hard, try to tune out any chatter from other people, any opinions from other people, because you are doing what is best for you, and you shouldn't ever have to make an apology for that, or even feel the need to justify or explain or get someone else's approval. Okay? Now, if you're making a decision in your life that affects others closest to you in a very personal way, like if you're married or you're in a partnership with somebody, then yeah, of course, talk about it with them. But if it's just your coworkers or extended family members or, whatever, it's not really their business, okay? Okay, and now we have persevere, leave no stone unturned, generosity, sow seeds of kindness, and joy, make time for the little things today. I like that we have joy and generosity coming forward, because I feel like Spirit is saying, you know what? Yeah, it's a month where you're making this big change, you're making this big decision, and you're having a lot of thoughts and feelings about it, but you're still going to have fun in the month of March. You're still going to have fun. And try to make time for that. Try to remember that you need space and time just to relax and enjoy yourself and get your mind off of this. And that will help you kind of cope with it too. And persevere, leave no stone unturned. Like, once you make that decision, just keep going with it. Don't try to backtrack. Don't try to second guess. Don't send yourself into an anxiety of like, oh no, what did I just do? You did it. So now it's time to live with it. What's done is done. And trust yourself. Trust that you made the right decision. And we have casket, someone going out of your life or the end of a situation. Finger, warning you of a problem either now or in the near future. And we have owl, good advice from a wise person. So I feel like this casket tea leaf card and this finger card is giving us a really big clue, like, about what this decision refers to. I mean, maybe some of you already knew, like, automatically, oh, I know what this situation is about, or I know what I need to make a decision on. Maybe it's something you've been contemplating for a while and you've just been waiting for a sign about it. And you finally get that epiphany moment, that sign in the month of March, and you're like, okay, it's a go. But for some of you, maybe you were clueless and you're like, I don't know. So maybe something is coming to light in the month of March that shows you something that you need to walk away from, something that you need to end, or a relationship that you need to end or cut ties with. Because I think that finger card here is that Ace of Swords. I think some sort of like information that you weren't aware of is coming to light and is giving you that epiphany. And I think it's divinely guided. I think Spirit is saying, okay, it's time for them to know like what's been happening kind of behind their back maybe, or like, just again, some information you didn't know before that is telling you, hey, like it's time to end this before it gets worse, because it is going to get worse. And so it's either about a person in your life or a situation in your life, some sort of circumstance. But Spirit is saying, like, this is a problem. Like, they're pointing the finger with that Ace of Swords. This person or this situation is a problem. So it's definitely you walking away from something and choosing something else. And this owl card, good advice from a wise person. The way this Ace of Swords happens, that epiphany moment, could be Spirit choosing someone in your life to sort of be a vessel for this information to come out. So someone is sharing something with you that you weren't privy to before. And Spirit is saying, listen to this person because they are delivering a message from us, when that epiphany moment happens. For others of you, the spirit is that owl. Spirit is the owl, and they are showing you some kind of sign, like leading you to something. And so the way that could play out is if this is about a person, let's say maybe you've been really unhappy in your romantic partnership for some time, and you get this urge to look at their phone, and you've never had an urge like that before. Trust that urge. Like, you know, like, hey, I mean, people say like don't invade someone else's privacy, and totally, definitely get that. But if you feel a strong calling out of nowhere to do something like that, could be spirit speaking to you and saying, hey, heads up, if you look in their phone, you're gonna find the truth, you know, whatever they've been doing behind your back. And so, I mean, you do with that what you want to do with it. Or it could be that you have just suddenly like this funny feeling of like, I feel like maybe my friend has been talking behind my back, like maybe I should ask this person about it. And then you do, and that other person is like, yeah, they have. So it could be something like that. Or, you know, this could play out just in so many different ways. But if you get just this weird urge to do something that's not typically something you would usually do, trust that urge, I would say, in the month of March, because it could be spirit trying to push you to discovering some sort of truth or information that you weren't privy to before. Okay? And as far as like going through someone's phone, I think that's something that you should avoid in general. But if you feel called to that, and it's a cheating situation, romantic situation, I think Beyonce's advice was best. I would rather be out here looking crazy than stupid. So, you know, if you feel called to, and you know, if you don't find anything and you were in your head about it or something, own up to it and apologize, you know. But I think in the month of March, it's important for you to trust your gut. If something just doesn't feel right, or if you feel called to do something, if something isn't sitting well with your spirit, there's a reason for it. Trust that. There's one oracle deck, I think, that says like trust the niggle, like trust that like little weird feeling that tells you to do something or to look into something. Just trust your gut. I think more than anything else in the month of March, trust your gut, because spirit is really trying to help you out of a sticky situation, for sure. But remember, what is on the other side of it is like self-empowerment, so much positive change in your life, feeling like you are taking back control. I mean, what is on the other side of it is really exciting and wonderful and beautiful and a great new chapter for you. But there's something you need to know about, and there's something you need to walk away from first. Okay? All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading. 3, welcome to your reading. So this is your March 2024 prediction. I will say I think you have more going on this month than the previous 2 groups. And then we will also end your reading here with some tea leaf cards. There'll be like some wild card messages in there. And then we'll use the Secret Garden Oracle to get some supportive messages from Spirit. But yeah, I mean, you do seem to have a lot going on, but let's go ahead and get into it. We have the 4 of Cups. We have the Wheel of Fortune. We have the Demon Cat, which is the devil in this deck. We have Enjoy the Ride. We have Portal, a new door is opening, beginnings, opportunities, and adventure. We have Luck is on your side, New Moon in Sagittarius. We have Childhood Home, tap into your inner child, childhood memories, play, and youthful energy. And we have that feeling when an experience changes everything before and everything to come. So going into the month of March, I think you're in this 4 of Cups energy, where you're just feeling bored, you're feeling a bit restless, dissatisfied, not quite content, you're just kind of like meh, is sort of the energy here. Just this feeling of like just maybe even like melancholy for some of you. You're just in a funk. You're not feeling your best. And with this Wheel of Fortune, we see luck on your side. We see the tide turning. We see things getting, changed for the better here. Things are starting to go your way. And that is confirmed here with luck is on your side, new moon in Sagittarius. This arrow is pointing upward, and it's almost like it would just go into this wheel and knock the wheel and move the wheel in your favor. Because the Wheel of Fortune can spin in different ways. It can crush us or it can uplift us. And seeing the Sagittarius energy here, the energy of Jupiter, which is the planet of abundance and expansion, everyone's favorite planet. Everyone loves Jupiter. Jupiter is a good time. Love that for you. I love to see this positive change. And especially because we have Portal, a new door is opening, beginnings, opportunities, adventure. Like, let's get out of this 4 of Cups energy where we're feeling in a funk and we're feeling dissatisfied, and let's go through a new door. Let's start a new chapter. Let's have a new beginning. And so things are happening for you. Things are moving in a positive direction. And we have that feeling when an experience changes everything before and everything to come. So with this Wheel card, it's like, okay, we're having some kind of experience that pushes us in a positive direction, starts us on a whole new chapter, but also, so it's having a positive outcome on our future, right? But also, it's helping us make peace with the past, because I think when something really good happens to us, we're like, you know what? Everything before this was really difficult, but if it brought me to this point, I'm good with it. I can make peace with my past because it brought me to this place, and this place is beautiful and wonderful, and I'm so happy and I'm so grateful. And who knows, if I didn't go through all that other stuff, I may have never gotten to this point. And what I have now kind of makes it all worth it. Hell was the journey, but it brought me heaven. I love that line. I actually have it on my wall downstairs. I have like a little, what's it called, like a gallery wall, and I have it on sewn on like a little pin cushion down there. But I think that sums up this aspect of your reading here of like, hell was the journey, but it brought me heaven. And that's with Enjoy the Ride. You're kind of like, you know what, this is kind of giving me a new perspective on life. And even this Enjoy the Ride card, it's a carousel, it's a wheel. I mean, it's a wheel. And even in Childhood Home, what's behind the little boy? A Ferris wheel. I feel like you're kind of having a new perspective on life in general as a result of this fated event with the Wheel of Fortune happening that's bringing luck and good fortune into your life, because you're like, you know what? I kind of get it now. I get it. Life is a cycle. Like like the seasons or the different phases of the moon. Like, I get it now. And everything I went through, it's worth it for this moment. And I kind of get it, where when life is good, be grateful. And when life is challenging, no, it's not going to last. Things always come back around again. That's the wheel of fortune. Sometimes we're up and sometimes we're down, but that's life. And so we always have to have hope, and we always have to have gratitude, because without those essential kind of ingredients, we're miserable. And why keep going without those things? And so I think now that you're having this lucky break, you're like, you know what? I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm grateful for it. I'm happy for it. And I know that if things do get bad again, or things do get stale or stuck or stagnant again, it'll come back around. I get that now. It's like you're finally understanding the wheel of life. It's just clicking with you. And you're like, you know what? I'm so happy I'm on the up and up. God bless. Like, thank you, universe. I'm good with it. And with childhood home, I mean, this could just be spirit saying, with you going through this wheel of fortune, fated event, lucky break, new opportunity, new portal, new door opening for you, all that business, with all of that going on, take some time just to have some fun, take some time to just relax, not take life too seriously. Like it says, enjoy the ride, have that kind of mindset about it, that youthful excitement, of a new fresh start. Try not to get too worked up about it or anxious about it. Just go with the flow. That message is coming through. But I think also with childhood home, this could be talking about this fated event is related to something you desperately wanted in childhood, or something you dreamed about in childhood, or maybe even something like if you played with Barbie dolls or something like that. You know how children will act out things with their dolls when they're playing? So it could be something that you acted out in play, like if you had a certain dream when you were a kid, or a certain fantasy when you were a kid, and you acted it out with your dolls, or whatever it is that you played with, or just imaginative play. That could be related to this fated event. So like, for example, like if you were a kid and for some reason, like, you always dreamed about going to New York City, and you always acted that out, like with your Barbie dolls, like, oh, they're moving to the city. Like that could be related to this. Like you have an opportunity to move somewhere you've always dreamt about since you were a kid. Or if you used to play, dolls is like an easy example, but this could be so many things. But maybe you acted out with your dolls that they would be, I don't know, like a lawyer. I don't know. And so, or a doctor. And then you get this lucky break where you got into med school, or you have something happen in your life where you're going to be able to afford to go back to law school or something. I'm just throwing out examples. This could be so many different things, but it could be related to that, something you used to play about in childhood coming true. Or even like, this could be if you used to act out having a wedding or getting married or something like that when you were a kid. That could be, you meeting your soulmate in the month of March. It can be related to so many different things. That's a more specific message, but if that clicks with you, feel free to claim it. Now with the demon cat and the devil energy. I actually really like this for you, especially since you had the Four of Cups like going into it. Life can bless us all day long, right? Positive changes can happen to us all day long. And whether we embrace that change or whether we are excited about it, that's on us, right? And so if there's any residual pessimism or like, yeah, things are going well, but who knows how long it'll last. I've done this to myself before, so no judgment. But when something good happens to me, sometimes I get so anxious about losing it that it ruins the experience. And an obvious example of that would be my pregnancy right now. Like, I have so much anxiety about this baby. And even when I went to my follow-up like anatomy scan, they said, the baby's great. And you know what I did? I came home and I cried. And I was upset because it just kind of dawned on me how worried I was about it. And even though I got good news, the fear was still there because I'm not through it all the way yet. And it was just this moment of like, what if he had said something different? And that realization of how much that would have crushed me. And I knew it, but see, I don't know. It's hard to explain like hormonally what's going on with me right now. But that fear was still there. The fear was not alleviated by reality being good. Like, it was still there. That anxiety is still there. And I've just been like, you know what? I'm going to live with it. And that's kind of what I've been doing, is just kind of making peace. Like, if my anxiety or fear about pregnancy and having my child be born healthy and me being good and all that, if that could take on a physical form and be like a little shadow following me around, I've just decided to make that shadow my buddy and to make peace with it. And it's here with me, and it's going to stay with me for a while, and it is what it is. And I can be debilitated by that, or I can just accept that as part of this process and still feel happy and excited in other ways. And that's what I've been doing. And so it may be for some of you that that's the case, is that you have this positive change, you have this good luck coming to you, these new opportunities, but you're so afraid of losing it that you still have this fear or anxiety or discontent, this level of unhappiness because you're so afraid of losing it. It's like, well, before I was unhappy because I felt like I had nothing in some way, but now I have something. And it's good to have something. I'm happy about having something. But now I have something to lose. And so that can create, and so then it's like, well, great. Now there's always a level of misery. And it doesn't have to be like that, But if it's that way for a while, until you trust your blessing, or you trust that the wheel has turned in your favor, that life hasn't blessed you with this opportunity just to snatch it away and laugh at you, or trick you in some way, I think make peace with the demon cat, make peace with this little shadow of doubt, of fear or anxiety of losing this opportunity or messing it up, or that way you don't self-sabotage, that way you don't feel miserable. Just make peace with it and say, you know what? This is a normal human reaction, and that's what it is, I think any parent would say, yeah, like, I love my kids so much, but that I have to also live with the fear of losing them. And it's the same thing when you love a romantic partner. Like, I love you so much, but I also have to live with the fear of losing you. I am so grateful that I got this new job opportunity, but I have to live with the fear of maybe this company will close down one day, or maybe I'll get laid off one day. Like, the future is ultimately unknowable to us. Like, we can do a lot with tarot, we can read the current energy, whatever, but 100% the future is a question mark. And so we just have to live with that shadow of doubt. We have to live with that fear of losing the blessing. We just have to live with it and make peace with it and find some way to cope. And so I don't think this is a huge thing, but I do think Spirit wants to give you a heads up. And I know sometimes people want to click on a tarot reading and just hear all the positives. And obviously, you have so much that is positive in this reading. So many blessings, good fortune, confirmed over and over and over again. Happy for you, so happy for you, Group 3. But at the same time, we have to bring in the balance with these readings. And when I see the demon cat here, I have to tell you the message that is coming through, because I want you to be prepared for it. And I don't want you to be so afraid of losing something that you hold so tightly to it, that you suffocate it and somehow make something that's supposed to be positive and enjoyable for you something that ends up being anxiety inducing, okay? I just want you to be aware. And Spirit wouldn't have this card come out if they didn't want you to be aware, okay? And so just be mindful. And also, like I said, remember, it's a normal human reaction. The more we get, the more we have to lose, the more pressure that comes with that, and we live with it. Because what other alternative is there? To have nothing? Well, no. And now we have grow. All flowers must grow through dirt. I feel like that's what you've been doing. I feel like March is your breakthrough moment where you're breaking through the soil and you see all the light coming in. And like we said before, it's like this wheel turning in your favor, this fated event, this good fortune, this turn in your luck. All of that is helping you, again, like make peace with the past, because you're so grateful for that moment. You're like, okay, if everything I've been through has led me to this moment, I'm good with it. We have radiance. Keep your head held high and follow the sun. Yeah, I mean, try to stay optimistic, okay? Try to stay optimistic. Because we did talk a little bit about pessimism with the demon cat. And we have self-care, tend to your garden. Absolutely, take care of yourself. And connect with your inner child, right? We have surprises, venture down the rabbit hole. That's the unknowable future, right? Like, just go with it. Follow the white rabbit. Go with it. It's going to lead somewhere great. Any opportunity that comes in, say yes. The wheel has turned in your favor. So new opportunities that are coming in, you can trust that they're going to lead you somewhere great. We have bear, danger, especially in money matters. We have vulture, depression, anxiety, worry that someone is working against you. Worry that someone is against you. And we have butterfly, a change for the better. So I will say, with your tea leaf cards here, I feel like the bear and the vulture have been what you have been dealing with. And with the butterfly, now we're talking about the wheel turning in your favor, a change for the better, and you getting away from feelings of depression, anxiety, feeling like people or someone is against you, difficulties with finances. I think that's the message here, is that we're getting away from that. And maybe some of you have only been dealing with the financial. Maybe others of you are like, finances are fine, but depression, anxiety, yeah. I feel like we're changing, like we said, we're getting away from that. And remember, like I said, that's the change that's happening in your reality. Like, we're taking away the things that were giving you anxiety, or things that were exacerbating like depression, or things that were exacerbating like money problems. We're taking that away. We're having a change for the better. Mentally, if you want to stay in that Four of Cups space, you could, right? But we want you to learn to live with the shadow of like having, fearing losing what you've been given. We want you to be comfortable living with that, because you have to, like, you're not going to give up your blessings. And again, I want to stress this, it's a normal human reaction. The more you get, the more you have to lose, and the more you're aware that you have more to lose. And so if anxiety just about that comes up, just live with it because you gotta, you know, and know that it's normal, and don't be upset with yourself about it. But you will learn to adjust and learn to cope with it. Now, I will say, for some of you, it could also be here just with this vulture card, the worry that someone is against you and that depression and anxiety. For some of you, there could be this fear that because you've had so many positive changes in your life, maybe certain people aren't as happy for you as you were expecting. Maybe you're disappointed by certain people's reaction to like your good news and your new opportunities. And if that's the case, just know that some people, like they say, are only meant to stay in our lives for a season. So if they can't go with you on this journey, as bittersweet as that may be, they can't go with you on the journey. Like, you can't drag them with you. You know, if they're not supportive, if they're not happy for you, if they are making your good news somehow about themselves, maybe those people leaving your life is part of this positive change, as difficult as that may be in the moment. That may only be for like one of you, but I did want to mention it. Okay. All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading.